Chapter 6, Visual Alchemy, Effects, Presets, and Color. Section 6.1, The Effects Library, Searching, Applying, and Stacking Plugins. Section 6.2, Color Correction Basics, Using Lumetri Color within After Effects. Section 6.3, Stylizing Footage, Glows, Blurs, and Glitch Effects. Section 6.4, Blending Modes, Creative Ways to Mix Layers and Textures. If the previous chapters were about building the skeleton and muscles of your motion graphics, this chapter is about adding the soul. We have covered movement, organization, and design, but your composition might still look a bit flat. It lacks atmosphere, mood, and texture. This is where we enter the world of visual alchemy. In Adobe After Effects, effects are the distinct chemical compounds we mix together to turn basic footage into cinematic gold. Whether you want to fix a white balance mistake, make a logo glow like neon, or turn pristine text into a glitchy mess, this is where the transformation happens. I often tell my students that animation provides the timing, but effects provide the feeling. A slow fade-out feels vastly different from a TV shutdown glitch. In this chapter, we are going to explore the Effects and Presets panel, master color correction with Lumetri, and learn how to blend layers together to create rich, textured visuals. Let's start cooking. 6.1 The Effects Library, Searching, Applying, and Stacking Plugins. The Effects and Presets panel contains hundreds of tools. When you first scroll through it, it looks like an endless list of confusing technical terms like CC ball action or calculations. It is easy to feel overwhelmed, but the truth is, you will likely rely on a core set of about 20 effects for 90% of your work. The most efficient way to use this panel is not by scrolling, but by searching. The search bar is the fastest route between your idea and the screen. Figure, high-resolution UI close-up of the Adobe After Effects Effects and Presets panel. The cursor is hovering over the search bar, typing Gauss and the list filters down to Gaussian blur highlighted in blue. The interface is dark mode, clean, and sharp. Applying effects. There are two primary ways to apply an effect to a layer. The first is to drag the effect from the panel directly onto the layer in the composition window or the timeline. The second, and often faster method, is to select your layer and double-click the effect name in the list. Once applied, the Project panel usually switches to the Effect Controls panel. This is your laboratory. Here, you can tweak the intensity, radius, color, and behavior of the effect. The importance of stacking order. Here is a concept that trips up many beginners: the order of effects matters. After Effects processes layers from top to bottom, and it processes effects on a single layer from top to bottom as well. Imagine you have a text layer. If you apply a distort effect and then a blur effect, the distortion gets blurred. If you apply the blur first and then the distort, you are distorting a blurry image. The results look completely different. Figure, side-by-side comparison diagram. On the left, a text layer labeled A shows crisp distortion edges because distort was applied after blur. On the right, a text layer labeled B looks muddy because blur was applied after distortion. Arrows indicate the downward flow of processing logic in the Effect Controls panel. Think of the Effect Controls panel as a waterfall. The image flows into the top effect, gets modified, flows into the next one, and so on. If your look feels wrong, try dragging your effects into a different order. 6.2 Color Correction Basics, Using Lumetri Color within After Effects. For a long time, color correction in After Effects was a patchwork of different obsolete effects. Then, Adobe brought the powerful Lumetri color engine from Premiere Pro directly into After Effects. It is now the industry standard for fixing and styling color within the app. Color correction serves two purposes: correction, fixing mistakes, and grading, creating a mood. We usually start with correction to ensure our blacks are black and our whites are white. The Lumetri workflow. To start, search for Lumetri color in your effects panel and apply it to your footage. You will see a robust interface appear in your effect controls, divided into sections like Basic Correction, Creative, and Curves. Start with the Basic Correction tab. Use the white balance selector, the eyedropper, to click on something in your video that should be white. This instantly neutralizes color casts. Next, adjust the exposure and contrast to ensure your subject is visible and the image pops. Figure: split-screen screenshot of a video clip within the composition window. The left half is before, flat, washed out, slightly blue tint. The right half is after, vibrant, proper contrast, warm skin tones. The Lumetri color effect control panel is visible on the left side, showing adjustments to temperature and exposure. Using creative LUTs. Once your footage is balanced, you can move to the Creative tab. This is where you can apply lookup tables, LUTs. Think of a LUT as a sophisticated filter like Instagram but with much higher mathematical precision. You can browse through the included looks to instantly give your footage a western, noir, or cold blue aesthetic. However, a word of caution: use the intensity slider. Most presets are too heavy at 100%, dialing them back to 40 to 60% often yields a more professional result. 6.3 Stylizing footage, glows, blurs, and glitch effects. Now that our footage is color corrected, let's have some fun. Stylization is where motion graphics begin to feel magical. We will focus on 3 staples of the industry: glows, blurs, and glitches. The art of the glow. Beginners often slap the standard glow effect on a layer and move on. However, the default settings can look harsh and digital. To get that lush, organic sci-fi look, the secret is usually to lower the threshold, so more parts of the image glow, and drastically increase the glow radius. A pro tip is to duplicate the glow effect, CMD plus D Ctrl plus D. Keep the first glow tight, low radius, and make the second glow wide, high radius. This creates a hot core with a soft falloff, mimicking how real light interacts with a camera lens. Figure: detailed infographic-style illustration showing a glow stack. Step 1 shows a text layer with no glow. Step 2 shows a tight, intense glow. Step 3 shows a wide, soft diffuse glow added on top. The final result creates a lightsaber-style neon effect. Strategic blurring. Blur isn't just for hiding license plates. It is a tool for directing the viewer's eye. We naturally look at what is sharp. By applying a camera lens blur, which looks more realistic than Gaussian blur, to a background element, you force the audience to focus on your foreground text. The glitch aesthetic. Glitches are incredibly popular in tech-focused motion graphics. While you can buy plugins, building one yourself is a rite of passage. The native recipe involves 2 effects: fractal noise and displacement map. Create a solid layer and apply fractal noise. Animate the evolution property so the noise crackles. Pre-compose that noise layer, move it into its own container. Apply displacement map to your footage and point it at the noise layer. Suddenly, your footage tears and warps based on the brightness values of the noise. It is chaotic, controllable, and looks fantastic. 6.4 Blending modes, creative ways to mix layers and textures. If you have ever used Photoshop, you are likely familiar with blending modes. In After Effects, they function identically, allowing you to mix a layer with the layers beneath it based on mathematical formulas. You can find the mode column in your timeline. If you don't see it, press F4 on your keyboard to toggle your column switches. While there are many modes, you only need to memorize the big 3 to start. The big 3: multiply, screen, and overlay. Multiply. This mode keeps the dark pixels and makes white pixels transparent. It is perfect for overlaying textures like paper grain or ink splatters onto a background. It darkens the image. Screen. The opposite of multiply. It keeps the light pixels and makes black pixels transparent. Use this for fire, sparks, lens flares, or light leaks that were shot on a black background. Overlay. This adds contrast. It multiplies the darks and screens the lights. It is excellent for blending a texture into a photo to make it look gritty and integrated, rather than just sitting on top. Figure. Visual matrix showing 3 examples of blending modes. Top row shows source image, a lens flare on black, and background, a city street. Row 2 shows multiply resulting in a dark mess. Row 3 shows screen resulting in the flare perfectly composite over the street. Row 4 shows overlay resulting in high contrast integration. Blending modes are the secret sauce of texturing. If your vector shapes look too clean and digital, drag in an image of concrete or old film grain, place it on top, and set it to overlay or soft light. Instantly, your sterile graphic feels like it exists in the real world. Summary. We have covered a lot of ground in this chapter. We learned that the effects panel is a library best navigated by search, not scrolling. We discovered that the order in which you stack effects changes the result. Visualize that waterfall. We used Lumetri to color grade, added style with glows and glitches, and used blending modes to weave textures together. Don't feel pressured to memorize every setting in the Effect Controls panel. The best motion designers are essentially mad scientists. They turn knobs, break things, and experiment until they find a visual reaction that looks cool. In the next chapter, we are going to move from 2D into the next dimension. We will explore 3D space, cameras, and lighting to give your scenes real depth. Figure Mind Map Chapter 6, Visual Alchemy, Central Node, Visual Alchemy, Node, Effects Library, Subnode, Search Bar, Dash, Don't Scroll, Search, Subnode, Applying, Dash, Drag and Drop Double Click, Subnode, Stacking Order, Dash, Top-Down Processing Waterfall Analogy, Node, Color Correction, Subnode, Lumetri Color, Leaf, Basic Correction, Dash, White Balance Tone, Leaf, Creative Tab, Dash, LUT's Look Development, Node, Stylization, Subnode, Glow, Dash, Low Threshold plus High Radius, Sub, Node, Blur, Dash, Camera Lens Blur vs Gaussian, Subnode, Glitch, Dash, Fractal Noise plus Displacement Map, Node, Blending Modes, Subnode, Multiply, Dash, Darken Transparency for White, Subnode, Screen, Dash, Lighten Transparency for Black, Subnode, Overlay, Dash, Contrast Texturing.